So we talked about the three different categories of flies: nymphs, dry flies, and streamers. What about presentation? What does that mean when I say that you have to present a fly well? Well, what I mean by that is if a trout is in a stream and it's feeding on something, and you throw a beautiful fly out to it that is something they would maybe see most of the time, trout are opportunistic eaters. They're probably going to eat it if it's presented well. So what does that mean? What that means is you have to make sure that you are making your fly act and look like the way it would if it was a real insect. So let's take nymphs for example, in our nymph box right here. If I'm going to go ahead and fish with this little prince nymph, I know that this fly is designed to look like an insect in the larval stage, meaning it can't really move a whole lot at all, if at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cast it into a river and simply let it drift. It should just be moving the way the current naturally makes it move. If I'm going and moving my rod a bunch and making the nymph look like it's swimming, that probably is going to look way too unnatural to a trout and it's going to avoid eating it. So that's how we present a nymph. Just let it drift naturally in the current. If we're talking about dry flies, say we're going to go ahead and cast in, again, a grasshopper. Grasshoppers can't fly very easily once they fall in the water. So it might be struggling a little bit, but for the most part, it's going to be just naturally drifting again in the current. So when I cast a dry fly in the water, maybe it will have a little bit of twitching, say if it's a larger terrestrial. But for the most part, if it's designed to look like a spent mayfly or a caddis that's already died in the water, it's mostly, again, like a nymph, going to present it where it doesn't move much except for the natural movement of the current. So is that the same for streamers, small fish? Probably not, because fish swim and they react to being chased. So right here we have our streamer box. Say we put on this streamer. If you think about it, when you cast this fly into the water, hopefully near a fish, a little tiny streamer fly is designed to look like a small fish. And if my fly were to see a large trout, it's probably going to be scared of it. So I need to make it look like it's swimming away and trying to survive. So the way we present a streamer is we cast it into the water and we go ahead and make it move. We make it look like it's swimming away. The way we do this is we strip the line. So once I cast it in, I strip the line and I pull the line. Stripping means pulling the line, retrieving it back to you. Once I go ahead and I cast my streamer in there, I'm going to strip it back, make it look like it's swimming away, trying to survive. And hopefully a big hungry trout is going to see that. It's going to look like it's presented well because to a trout, it's a scared fish. It's going to react in a predatory way and go ahead and chase and attack that streamer fly, and that's how we catch the fish on the streamer. Some streamers are designed to look like leeches. Obviously, leeches don't swim the same way a small fish would swim. So in some cases, when I cast in a streamer that's black or that's supposed to look like a leech, it could look like a small fish or a leech. Sometimes I present it in a way where I cast it in and I simply let it drift. This is called a dead drift, meaning the streamer doesn't move. You don't strip it. You just let it swing in the current. This will look pretty natural to a fish if they're used to seeing leeches get caught up and pushed downstream in the current. And then at the end of that drift, I might go ahead and strip it a little bit just to entice a different fish into thinking it's a small fish swimming. So that's what I mean when I talk about presentation. What I mean is I'm saying, how do we make our flies look like the real thing? This is going to give us the best chance of catching fish.